Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? Let's see here. We have, says it's unable to connect to the chat. Well, that's okay. I'm going to go with it here anyways. So, what's up, my beautiful people? Welcome to your live weekly energy report for the week of March 17th to the 23rd of 2020. And man, we have a lot going on right now. So I want to kind of blend all this energy in with, all the world events going on right now, because clearly, it's something to talk about, right? There's massive amounts of panic, change, chaos. All this stuff is coming up from underneath the surface, and it's really bringing to light a lot of the things that nobody really want to look at. And that's the Plutonian energy, right? So, Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It's all the deep down, underneath, unconscious stuff that we just don't want to see. We don't want to acknowledge within ourselves. Like, say you have like a really nasty habit, right? That you don't really want anybody to know about. Well, Pluto will go in there and somehow it's going to expose it. Okay, so at some point in our life, we experience this feeling, and it's never fun to face and process. And in January 12th of 2020, we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, 23 degrees Capricorn. So Capricorn represents the structures of our world, our society, right? And Pluto represents death and rebirth. So with the structures, and Saturn represents the economy, it represents governments, it represents corporations, it represents, like the structure of our society. So when Pluto and Saturn come together, this is an uprooting of all the stuff that we don't want to look at. And man, does it go deeper than any of us probably have any idea of, because let's face it, information in the world is highly compartmentalized, right? It's just like in the military. Nope, not anybody knows everything. It's all, and it's done that way for a reason. Okay, so I'm saying, is anybody in here? Just want to connect the chat. Well, it says I can't connect to the chat here, so I sincerely apologize. Hopefully you guys are getting this and seeing what's going on in here. So, anyways, this Pluto energy, right? It's digging up all this deep, dark stuff that nobody wants to look at. Now, with that being said, okay, Neptune represents viruses, it represents bacteria, it represents infections, infectious diseases. It also represents, addictions, delusion, illusion. On the other side of that, it represents surrender. Okay, so we are going into a period that we've never seen with Neptune before, and it's sextiling all this energy in Capricorn. Now, normally sextile is a good aspect, all right? But with all this stuff going on, that would suggest that everything that's going on is a good thing for a reason. Now, it may not look like it right now. Of course, it definitely does not look like that. The entire world is shutting down. But there's a very big reason for this. So, nobody really knows everything that's going on, but you can feel what feels right, and you can feel what is just bullshit, right? And there's something definitely not right about this whole coronavirus thing. So I've been getting a ton of downloads, all right? So this is my opinion, and I'm saying this because this is what I feel, and this is not necessarily to scare anybody. This is just to, as an awareness and to let everybody know that, we really have to step up and stand in our power, because we are entering into spiritual warfare, the front lines of spiritual warfare, World War III, really. It's in the energetic realms, and shit's gonna get weird, guys. shit's going to get real weird. We're going to start to really be experiencing a lot of paranormal kind of stuff. And it's really interesting to me, like Hollywood. You see Hollywood, right? And they create all these movies about these scenarios. Anything from like war movies to futuristic sci-fi to superhero movies. The fact is that kind of shit is actually going on, okay? But they take metaphorical things and turn it into literal meanings. For example, let's take, superhero movies. Guys, we are stepping into our hero's journey right now, 2020. And this is the start of the astrological year, actually this week. So that's one reason why this week is so incredibly significant. There are many reasons, okay? But look at like how superheroes come into their power, right? Generally speaking, they have a breakdown, right? Something really weird starts to happen, and essentially the process is a spiritual awakening, right? So when they have this awakening, they break. Like, let's take, I don't know, Cyclops of the X-Men, right? He's in school, he starts getting really bad headaches, and then somebody is fucking with him. It always has some kind of emotional instability, all right? So like super hardcore emotional, I don't know how to handle this. And then from that, boom, this energy just releases, and now their power releases. But when it's going on, it can feel like you're losing your freaking mind, right? It can feel like you're going absolutely crazy until you learn how to work with it and process it. And then when you master it, hence mastering your mind, that is when you become a power for good, I guess, or evil in this world. So we are picking sides right now. This next 6 months, this week we're coming into a 6-month process where we're going to be choosing sides. Sort of like, getting ready for a dodgeball game, right? We have the captains, which is light and dark, and people are going to different sides. Everybody in the world is tuned into the same frequency right now, and you can feel it. It's palpable. That's what this coronavirus is doing. And right now, people are choosing their sides. Are you going to go in the fear and panic mode, or are you going to go in the light and, let's make this world a better place mode? Now, the natural instinct for a human being when in reactivity mode is to feed that reptilian brain, to feed the fear, self-preservation. Okay, we need to go buy out the whole store of toilet paper and make sure that we're okay, just in case the world falls to shit, as opposed to let's take care of everybody else. And you see different people wanting to do humanitarian things. You see people getting out there and giving all this information. There's so much information, and it's all really, a majority of it's hearsay, right? But whatever you resonate with, that's the direction you're going in. And I personally feel that I'm going in the direction of the light. This is the work that I've been doing personally. I know if you're resonating with this, you've been doing the work too, and you're going in that direction of the light to make this world a better place. So all this darkness is coming up, and it's bringing up this suppressed fear in everyone in the world right now that has not been dealt with, right? Essentially, it's a collective dark night of the soul. And with this collective dark night of the soul, it's scary as fuck. And if you've been walking around unconscious and not doing the work, then this is going to be an incredibly difficult time, because all these foreign emotions, all these things and experiences that you didn't even know existed are going to be in your face now. And you'll be like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? Life is falling apart. But life is more falling together or coming together. All right. But it has to have a tower moment first. It has to crumble. So there's a deeper meaning. There's much deeper stuff going on here. Okay. With everything, like there's a massive deep state agenda that has to take place to be able to work through and get rid of all these corrupt, greed-driven, manipulative people that are in power. There is so much corruption in this world, and it is destroying the earth and the world. Think of it right now, like with everything slowing down and coming to a halt, it's allowing the earth to recover a little bit. Now, with that being said, it's going to destroy economies, but the economies are going to be rebuilt in a new way because they need to be. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the the messages and, memes going around about these, from the Weinstein and Epstein cases, how there's 158,000 indictments going around for all these, powerful people. Personally, I believe that shit's going on, right? All these CEOs have already stepped down. All these celebrities are magically getting the coronavirus. I personally don't know anybody that has gotten it. And I've asked around to pretty much everybody I know, and nobody I know knows anybody. Now, you hear here and there, people have taken the test and tested positive for it. But what means does that test even use? They haven't said anything of what they're even testing for. And then all of a sudden, magically, I've been seeing people are already getting vaccines for this. People are being paid $44,000 to get this vaccine that has not been tested in any way, shape, or form into their body. What is in that vaccine? There is so much information coming out from under the surface, and it's proving that we cannot trust the system. So what's going to happen now? This Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, that it's going to be exact on March 28th, but we're feeling it right now. They're literally 1 degree apart, and Mars is going through there too. So with Mars going through there, and literally today and tomorrow, we have the moon going over all this. So this is like making it real, making it palpable, making it next level. Okay, it's really settling in to realizing like, wow, life is really going to change in every single way, but we need that. At this point, with all the gyms and all the restaurants and all the bars and everything closing, like, yeah, it's taking away jobs, but it's also taking us away from the distractions that we've been stuck in for our entire lives. So it's going to force us to really reevaluate everything about life. What are we doing? What are our priorities? What are our attachments? Are you attached and addicted? Like the gym, of course, big one. Are you attached, at least for me and people that I know, now, oh my God, the gym was my outlet. Well, what do you do when you don't have your outlet? If work is your outlet, well, now what do you do if you don't have work as your outlet? You have to come back to center. You have to come back to yourself. And that's very scary for a lot of people. Now, in this process, I've been doing a massive amount of work on myself this last 5 years. So I actually feel almost a sense of peace in all this, because everything that everybody's experiencing right now has been my life for the last 10 years. And because I've done that work, now it's like, all right, now I actually get to do the work. Now I actually get to step up into my power. So I'm really grateful that all this is happening. Now, granted, it's not fun and it's scary. It's very scary. I'm like, I'm afraid, but I've learned to use that fear as a tool to grow. I've learned to make friends with my fear. And that's what this energy is telling us right now with Jupiter conjunct Pluto. So we need to make friends with our fear. Okay. Now there's so many layers going on here. From what I'm seeing, there's two different sides. Okay. And this next 6 months is going to be critical because there's so much change going on. If we're in the state of fear, it's going to bring us more and more into the state of lack. And there's going to be new control measures taken. And the people that are in this constant state of fear are going to be sucked in to these control measures. Now, these control measures could be martial law, mandatory vaccines, just staying on lockdown. Who knows how they're going to get like the jobs restarted and all this new stuff going on. There's so many unknowns, but I can tell you what. I do know that the government is going to start to create this new one world type of a government and a one world type of currency. In fact, I saw something today that they're talking about creating a new world currency because the world has been living on borrowed money for way too long, and it was going to erupt at some point anyways, right? So with that being said, there's a massive reset going on, and we have to reset within ourselves too. Okay, so behind the scenes, a big reason why everybody is like, they're making everyone have to be self-quarantined, okay, is because there's a massive military operation going on around the world where all these very high-profile people and targets are being arrested and taken in. Now, these people are some of the most powerful people in the world, and if we were able to, if people were around and being busy, they will be able to manufacture things like school shootings and, things like this. This stuff, this conspiracy theory stuff, it may have been theory before, but it's looking very much factual now at this point. So trust the process. You know, we're actually being protected, and you need to really take this opportunity in this place. Don't be like, if you hoarded on Doritos and fucking soda, that's a bad idea, dude. Like, we need to ground ourselves, eat good quality foods, boost your immune system. Because I'll tell you what, when they do start to try to mandate vaccines and people start getting those, they're going to shed, and they're going to actually create real problems and real disease. So I believe that this is going to get worse-ish. Like, it's going to keep spreading, and, you know, the fear is going to keep spreading probably until the end of the first week of April. All right. That's when Mercury is going through Pisces. Once Mercury conjuncts Neptune, that's really when, you know, that's the communication with all this uncertainty, this unknown. And it's like so big and so scary that, you know, Mercury already doesn't like being in Pisces. It's too much emotion and trying to figure it all out. Right. So as it's going through there, it's going to peak right around that time, like the first week of April. Then it's going to die down, especially when it starts to get warmer out. You know, that's why the body gets warm when it's fighting something off. That's why you get a fever, because heat kills bacteria and viruses. So a fever is not a bad thing. What we need to do is we need to boost our immune system, strengthen our immune system, so that it can be stronger in the process of fighting off and heating up and getting rid, and just let it take its course. And that is natural, building natural immunity. That's a natural vaccine in and of itself. Okay? We go get a vaccine and we're actually going to beat up our immune system, and who knows, God knows what's in that shit, because it's being proven that actually that the stuff they say is in there, they refuse to test it. There's so much evidence out there, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not even going to get too deep into that. That's a given. You can go research that on yourself. Okay? But with all these high profile people being arrested, all this sex trafficking and this adrenochrome thing with the elites to keep them young, it's disgusting. It's disturbing, really, right? So all that shit needs to come to an end. So that stuff is being put to the side. Now, on the same token, we have some people that are going to try to initiate this socialist type of economy, where they, like Mitt Romney was talking the other day about how he wants to give every adult American $1,000. Well, what the hell is every adult American do with $1,000? That's gonna, like, you know, that's gonna be gone in a couple days, right? How are people gonna pay their mortgage? So socialism doesn't work, and especially in this kind of situation, like, yes, redistribution of wealth to a certain extent may help, but you know, we can't just give handouts, because the bad habits are still there. We need to teach habits. And I believe that the people that are going to be rising up, okay, in the light and teaching, you know, individuation and growing stronger in truth, like we are the people that are going to be educating and teaching people about the things that are really important to learn to come into this new age of Aquarius. Because essentially, this is the end of the age of Pisces, guys. This is the segue, okay? Now, the economy is going to be all flipping and flopping all over the place. And then when it comes to December, I know I'm getting a little off this week, but this is all relevant to this process. December, when Jupiter conjuncts Saturn, that is when they're going to attempt to implement a new world government. And you can back here and check it out. And I said it's going to happen. And some type of new world currency. Okay, now the new world government is going to also attempt to implement these control measures. And that's what we have to be careful of. Remember Hitler? It's basically what he did. Okay, and the last time Uranus was in Taurus was when Hitler was in power. And right now Uranus is in Taurus again. So there's a lot more layers, and it goes much deeper right now, but you can see that we are at this fork in the road. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to pick a direction and go, but go take care of yourself. If you're just like, fuck, I'm just going to drink tonight and, you know, and numb this shit out and wait it out, or maybe have a party and just chill and just not give a fuck. We have to do the work now when we have an opportunity to, and make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, grounding ourselves, keeping our immunity high, so that, and you know, not to mention, the more out of balance and unhealthy your body is, the more you numb yourself out. You cannot hear spirit. You cannot hear that internal voice, that the voice of the universe, the voice of God, our intuition. It's all the same to me, okay? You cannot hear that voice clearly. And we need to be able to hear that voice because that voice is what's guiding us where to go next, okay? So we have this Jupiter, Mars, Pluto conjunction basically happening all week. And then, of course, on the 24th, we have the new moon in Aries, which is going to sort of cap it out. And I made a video of that on my YouTube. You can check that out. Very, very good information. But I wanted to come on here and really talk about this week with all this stuff going on. Don't panic. Things have to shut down. They're probably going to shut down to the end of April to the beginning of May. Okay. Once the weather gets better and once all this military shit is all said and done and all, it's going to take a little while for that stuff to get down. Then they're going to have to do some kind of stimulus to bring everything back. Right. But we're entering into the beginning of this massive lesson. The massive lesson is between Jupiter and Pluto. And now this is allowing us to dig deep into our passion and desire and ambition. But it can also make us lose our fucking shit and go nuts. Okay? Because there's a lot of uncomfortable, unfamiliar energies that we're going to have to step into. This unknown is the place where we grow. Okay? And the Plutonian, Jupiterian energies are also, they're very supernatural. Okay. Intuition is going to be getting a lot stronger. Okay. So you could have a lot more clarity, a lot deeper clarity, but if it's something that you don't want to hear or don't want to believe, then you're going to fight it. Don't fight it. Go with it. Let it teach you. Let this shit teach you. Take the opportunity. Like life is basically saying, the universe saying, hey guys, you all need to slow the fuck down. Now, of course, not everybody's going to survive this. This is that process. Okay. But in that sense, we stand in our own power. We pray for everyone, that we love and we care about. We pray for humanity, right? But the evil energies are being dealt with at a much deeper level. This is a deep state, string pulling people, reptilians, whatever you want to call them, that have been running the show from the shadows that are being called out. Okay, but this is stuff that's beyond our pay grade. This is consciousness war. So your consciousness is being manipulated where all of ours is. And the only way that we know the truth is when we tap into that deep voice inside of us that is the universe, that is God. Okay. Our God consciousness is guiding the way. If you're not tapped into that, you need to face it. In order to get there, you need to face these fears. You need to face these things that are coming up that are making you feel super uncomfortable. Okay, they're trying to teach you something. So say, for example, like you have a hat, well, I'm an athlete. So, the gym, right? Well, when I was in the military and I was going through basic training, I never went to the gym once, yet I was in the best shape of my life. Now, granted, I wasn't huge, but I was shredded, right? And I felt good. I could run with the rucksack on my back for 25 miles. It's crazy. So, and that also gives a chance to get into nature, be out in sunlight, reconnect with our primal, fundamental, body needs, thoughts, feelings. Get out there, share yourself to the world, meaning Pachamama, meaning the earth, meaning, get out into nature, ground yourself. Get out, connect with your family if you can. And if you're able to, if you're able to be around your family, consider yourself so blessed, because there's so many people, myself included, that I'm not near my family. And it is heart-wrenching, but it's also, that's what keeps us strong. That's what builds our core trust in ourselves. You may be feeling this new sense of like, I got to do something. I got to make some shit happen. I need to I have this mission. We all have a mission in this world, right? And the ones that are feeling called to step up, if you're watching this, good chance it's you. If you're feeling called to step up, this is the time. But when you step up, you have to step into that unknown, and you may not know what to step up into. And that's why doing these things, taking time to slow down, being with your family, going for a run outside, or eating good quality, healthy foods, cooking with your family, cleaning up your house. Just these little things that we don't think about, that because we've been disconnected from the busyness of our lives. You know, we have no control over, like, you know, if we own a business, right? And business shuts down, we have no control over it. So there's like, of course you want to prepare the best you can, but everybody's having this issue. So there's no point in worrying about it, really. Right? And I get it. It sucks. It's not fun and it's scary. Okay. But just have faith. This is a time to have faith and slow down. And when you slow down, the answers will come, but they won't come in the way that you can control it. They'll come in very very unaware or very unorthodox ways, right? Like these intuitive hunches. Hey, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try that. Or, you know, so follow these hunches, get back to basics, do what makes you feel good. And if you're feeling like shit, okay, like, or not like shit, but say, for example, like, you know, you're just super exhausted and tired all of a sudden. Okay, well, let yourself take a DDS day. That stands for don't do shit, by the way. We all need one every now and then. And I know, like, for me, I'm a workaholic, right? All I ever do is work. So, you know, we all need that time, that downtime, but you have to listen to this sensation in your heart. And so many people's hearts are not open. And this collective mass awakening is cracking open everyone's heart chakra. And with all that fear stuff, with all that plutonic, like, I don't want to look at it energy, you know, we have to, you know, heart opening feels very similar to heartache or heartbreak when it opens up. So as it opens up, it's releasing all this deep, dark, nasty shit, but it's better out than in, right? But collectively, because it's happening to so many people at once, this is everywhere. And I know all my brothers and sisters that are light workers, that are star seeds, that are indigo children, that are these beings of light that are doing this work. All right. It's not easy for us either, but we've done the work before. It's like, okay, I recognize this feeling. I recognize this energy. Been here before. Kind of, in a way, I know where it's going to go for me, but the very bottom line, the one biggest thing that I've learned through going through this process all the years, my dark night lasted for like almost 10 years, guys. Biggest thing I learned is that you have to let go of trying to figure it out. You just have to let it go. And once you do, woo, man, it's like, wow, things all of a sudden start to make sense, but you don't see the whole big picture. You see the next step, and then you realize the next step brings you to the next step, and then you start to trust that next step. And the more you trust that next step, the more you're like, whoo, all right, beautiful, let's do this. So let's go into the chart here real quick. And actually, I'm not 100% sure how to pull it up on this live stream. So I'm just going to talk about it, if that's okay with you guys. So today we have the moon coming right around Mars. Okay, so moon over Mars, that's very aggressive. It can be very frustrating and very irritating. It's going to be like, it's going to bring this feeling to a sort of a deeper, like, I need to do something, but I can't do anything. Right. So we have to watch that. And then of course, you know, we have Neptune conjunct Lilith. So that's that escapist. Like, I just want to, honestly, that's like, I just want to fuck. I just want to like have some fun. I want to escape through sex or through some kind of fetish or through some kind of like, you know, like almost like a game, you know, like a sexual kind of game. So, I mean, of course, like, you know, if you can do that in a healthy and fun way, I'm all for it, man. Like, you know, sex is relieving. Sex, you know, is necessary for healthy sleep. You know, you have an orgasm, you go to sleep, man, it's beautiful. It's great. Just don't go around, you know, like, hey, it's the end of the world. You know, you want to fuck real quick? Like have a Corona quickie. That's probably not a good idea right now. Okay. Because, yeah, that shit never lasts. And of course, we have Chiron at 4 degrees of Aries, and we have now Mercury at 1 degree of Pisces. So it's still in the shadow period. Okay, so again, Mercury and Pisces, granted, it's better out of retrograde than in, but still not too much fun. And of course, Saturn there at 29 degrees. It's interesting because all this stuff really took off when Saturn went 29 degrees. Dude, guys, astrology doesn't lie. Like this is no joke. And with all, like, especially, you know, with Venus retrograde this year and Mars retrograde, this entire year is like having us look at all the deepest, most fundamental primal aspects of our relationships, of our money, of our life, of our work, of our physical health, of our mental health, and doing like the universe, like, okay, do you like going through it all through like a cheese filter? Like, do you really want this? Do you really want that? Because the next year, once Saturn conjuncts Jupiter, it's like, all right, you picked a side. Now the game's on. It's like we've chosen sides for the dodgeball game of the spiritual warfare. Now, game on, dodgeball. And next year, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, this is probably gonna be a tough couple years because we're coming in, we're starting a new era, a new generation. Like, this is gonna go down in history for shifting consciousness, for shifting humanity. And the more people that we have that embrace the light and wake up and do the work and get out there and help others and, create peace and share knowledge and share healing, the better off the world is going to be. Okay. And we all have a part to play. This is the hero's journey. I say it again. Okay. I'm a huge superhero fan, because I personally feel like my journey has been a hero's journey all along, Now, when I had my first spiritual awakening, when I went through my Saturn return, that initially happened in Iraq. So the first thing that happened to me was my first brush with, the death. I had to defuse an IED, and I was like, I all of a sudden was in this moment, and all of a sudden I froze, and I was like, oh, fuck. Somebody could have like a cell phone like 2 blocks away and I could die. Like, wow. And like my whole life flashed before my eyes, and I didn't think I was afraid of death until I had a brush with it. And then suddenly I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of the unknown. I was afraid of not being good enough. I was afraid of, I was afraid of everything. It completely shook me to my core. And I had never felt like that before. And I always prided myself on challenging myself to the very core. I was afraid of heights, jumped out of airplanes, right? So it really changed my life in a way that had me go on this journey of facing these survival instincts within myself. And collectively, that's what everybody's going through right now. They're fearing dis-ease. They're fearing death. But really, at the very core, all these fears are collectively like fearing the unknown. And people fear what they don't understand. So if you're not informed, especially if you're not informed with yourself, that is the big signifying factor. People don't know who they are. So because people don't know who they are, they've been relying on external factors and external information. So we have all this contradicting information, and people are getting pissed off, and opinions are being thrown around, and all this misinformation is what the fuck? And people are just like getting frustrated and pissed off, and that's just feeding the virus. The virus is that energy. So we really have to take a step back and get to know who we are in our hearts at a deeper level. This is all about mastering the self. So, I'm extremely great. Like for many, many years, I was like, why is this happening to me? I don't get it. And right now you may be feeling like, why is this happening? Right? I don't understand. I don't get it. I had a great life. Things were going great. Like now everything's falling to shit. Like everything that I knew is going to go away. It has to happen because many, many people have not been living from their authenticity, from their true heart. Even if you have been, okay, the systems that are in place have not been like the court system is completely corrupt. Okay, I know I'm going through a custody battle. It's completely fucked. Okay, and it's unfortunate. You have to know how to play the game, or you have to have the money, right? Politicians, lobbyists, it's all about money. Everything is about money and greed right now, right? All that shit needs to be wiped clean and come back to why we founded this country in the first place. We came here from Britain to liberate ourselves from the tyranny of the government that was taxing on taxing on taxing and holding people down. Most people can't even afford fucking rent right now. Look at California. You got to pay like $3,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. It's crazy. So this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's not sustainable. It's not livable. Okay, so all like literally down to the very bare bones infrastructure. Saturn, Pluto is exposing all of this bullshit that is just not, it's not high vibration. It's all based in low vibration stuff. So that's being called out, and it's gonna be a complete revamp on the entire system of the world. Now we have to make sure, and it's all of our responsibility. We need everybody to stand up and stand in our power to be able to teach and show that, hey, this is not the right way. This is the most optimal way for humanity to do this. We had access to free energy and free power 120 years ago. Nikola Tesla. Right? We threw it away because they were greedy. They didn't make any money. Healthcare system, cancer. Don't you think that by now they would have found a cure for cancer? There are cures for cancer out there, but they don't want you to know that because it doesn't make any money. Fuck that shit. We have to let that go. And we have to trust in here. That is the Aquarian age, okay? Tribal community. It's about the humanitarian in us all. And we all have to step up to that so that we can grow and just be this. There can be peace. There needs to be peace in this world. And I believe in the long run, that's what's going to happen here. But we have a lot of work ahead of us to make that happen. Okay. So let's see here. The 18th, we have the moon finishing up in Capricorn. So it's going to conjunct Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. You know, the moon is our emotional body. All right. So, and I mean, that energy is trumping everything else right now. So everything else is sort of, it's there. It is what it is. But we have to be careful, especially with Neptune coming into the highest degree that we've ever seen in our lifetime. All right. We're going into a deeper level, and that represents the 12th house, the deep unconscious. So this is psychic abilities, psychic gifts. This is also surrender. This is also disease. New diseases can be created through, I believe personally that through these medications, through everything the pharmaceutical industry, throws out there, that's going to create new diseases. It already is. Okay. I mean, the entire medical system is based on germ theory, which epigenetics has proved to be completely false. And so we need to revamp and redo all the science that goes into our Western medical system. And that's why alternative medicine is getting so popular, because that shit works. Western medicine clearly, okay, it works 10% of the time. 90% of the time, it's just making money. Fuck that shit. Sorry, I've had some bad experiences with Western medicine, so I'm biased, okay? But I've seen some really terrible things, and I've also seen some really amazing things through people learning. And so I've worked with some fascinatingly brilliant people, shamans, PhDs, doctors that have overcome diseases naturally. I've helped people myself. I've done it myself, okay, naturally, through detoxification protocols, through understanding the different systems of how they interact together. Western medical system compartmentalizes everything, right? And when you compartmentalize it, you can't get the big picture, just like Intel. When you have compartmentalized information, you cannot get the big picture. And as such, we have been taught to think in a compartmentalized fashion. And that keeps us separated from ourselves. So we are learning how to integrated medicine, functional medicine, integrate the self, integrate the physical body and the emotional body and the energetic body all together. That is when we feel whole. That is when we thrive. And that is when we raise our vibration and bring everything to a whole new level. Okay? So it's about integration, and it's about your truth. Because everybody's truth is their own, right? What is your truth? And if you're living a lie, if you're lying to yourself, that's going to be thrown in your face right now. Sorry, ain't going to happen. And, if you keep going that direction, it's going to result. It's going to result in deterioration. And when energy is in a deteriorative state, that's when disease happens. When you go seeking out things that promote disease as well, like vaccines and medications. Just saying. Okay. And you can agree with me, disagree with me. I'm speaking from my experience, and that's that. I love all you guys, and I'm trying to help from my experiences, share what has helped me along my journey. And that's it. All right. So then let's see. On the 19th, we have the moon now in Aquarius. All right. So now the moon is feeling like this more humanitarian, like, well, how can I help? You know, like, so we've all been bunkering down and we've all got the essentials down, and all this like really big reality check is like, oh, fuck. And Mars is exactly conjunct Jupiter. So with Mars conjunct Jupiter, this is like, okay, now the panic is there, but now I want to do something. Now let's make something happen. I want to be a part of the fight. I want to fix things. I want to create a change. But it's like, before you can change out there, you have to change in here. So it's almost like you just got to sit and feel it and deal with it. Okay? But it's okay. That's a good thing. Get uncomfortable. Slow it down. Let it be okay. And of course, you know, Saturn is still at 29 degrees. We have the sun at 29 degrees Pisces, the very last degree of Pisces, and that's exactly sextile over to Saturn. Man, oh, wow. The sun at 29 degrees, sextile Saturn at 29 degrees. Let me tell you something. That's so much information is going to be coming out this week, guys, and particularly on the 19th. Something big's going to come out that day. Something big that's probably going to shift this to a whole deeper level. I hope and I pray that it doesn't go to martial law, but we're already in a national state, a national emergency state, right? So with that being said, like, they can implement other things along the way, but I do personally believe that they are doing this for the sake of the citizens, for the sake of people, to a certain extent. All right, because you know, all this other stuff going on behind the scenes. So, you know, try to find new ways to get your creativity flowing and to get in touch with these deeper parts of yourself that aren't scared. Like, hug that little child inside of you that is, you know, terrified, because we all have that inner child that needs attention, that needs compassion. Love and compassion is what's going to get us through into this next level. Okay. And then on the 20th, okay, now we are in Aries season. So the 20th is officially the start of the new astrological year. Yay, that's when we're going to feel another massive shift too, okay? Because Aries is cardinal energy. So it goes from this mutable, like everything is unknown and shaky, to this, let's get going. Let's go. Let's get started. Let's make it happen. I'm feeling, and it's very like, it's a fire. So it's going from water, real emotional, to fire, like passion. Okay. So it's going to shift. So we're going to sort of get rid of the emotions a little bit. All right. And we're going to sort of almost become a little more stabilized in this energy. And now we have, you know, Mars at 23 degrees, right in between Jupiter at 22 and Pluto at 24. So this is right here, like, guys, like, this is like where we're being jolted with this deep, passionate fucking energy that is saying, just go. Sort of like, you know, if you've seen like the King Arthur movie, when he actually grabs the sword, you know, up until then it was all unknown. He was like trying to think of the story to tell himself, you know, and then he grabs the sword and he gets jolted with this vision of what he's meant to do. That's kind of like what's going to happen. We're going to be getting these visions, these ideas of what our next chapter is in our life, because it is so much unknown right now. Yeah. So each one of us has that scenario where it is the beginning of this new chapter of everyone's life. And it's going to be intense and unnerving to everyone to a certain degree. Okay. And we just have to really accept this new responsibility at this new level. Okay. So you are King or Queen Arthur, grabbing that sword and the stone and getting this vision of this deeper power that has been bestowed upon you that you didn't even know existed until now, because Pluto had to dig that energy up and expose it to you to show you, hey, all right, this is the next level. This is where you're at. This is where it's going. And with the moon still in Aquarius, it's, you know, the moon in Aquarius is very open. It's like, okay, we're going to accept these unorthodox ideas, you know, like my moon is in Aquarius. So, you know, I'm a fucking weird dude, right? I'm a bodybuilder, but an astrologer, and I channel energy. That's kind of unheard of, right? So, and I had a hard time accepting that about myself. It took me a long fucking time to feel confident and comfortable enough to actually even do this, to get this information out there, because I thought people were going to think I'm fucking nuts. So you may feel like, fuck, like I'm seeing these new images in my head, or I have this, like, these new downloads, or I'm having these new experiences emotionally, and I don't really understand it all, but I just feel compelled to go forward. I feel like I have this new mission, but it makes no sense. Go with it, because that is the way, that is the direction that you are meant to go for your hero's journey. Okay? So now the 21st, now we have the moon in Pisces. It's going to conjunct Mercury. So this is going to bring a little more oomph and clarity and fear a little bit more. Okay, like another uptick in the fear, in the feeling of panic collectively. Okay, but you know, because when the moon is in Pisces, now it's, you know, getting a little more emotional again. And conjuncting Mercury, this is going over, you know, all the stuff that we were learning in Mercury retrograde again. So, you know, just go with it. That's what this week is going to look like. Just like, or almost like getting repeatedly shocked with, you know, what brings your heart back to beating again. It's almost like the heart's going to be beating, but in a whole new, like in a whole new rhythm. We're literally creating a whole new organic rhythm to our hearts. Okay, so the 22nd. Okay, now the 22nd, Saturn moves into Aquarius. Now this is going to be another massive shift of energy. So we still have now we have Mars exactly conjunct Pluto. So Mars conjunct Pluto is just digging up, like it's almost like pissed off now. It's this warrior that's like, fuck this shit. I'm going to do something. I'm going to make it happen. It can be very frustrating, or it can be incredibly sexual. And the sun is conjunct Black Lula too. So this whole week, it's like primal sexual fucking energy. It can be like Kundalini kind of energy, or it could be like, man, I just want to fuck. I just want to fuck all day long. Like that's all I ever want to do. What the fuck? And but you know, Saturn coming into Aquarius is going to be a massive shift in energy as well. So now we have this cardinal energy with the sun, and Saturn going into air energy, which it hasn't been Aquarius in 28 years, which in my opinion is a really exciting time. Okay, because like Saturn and Capricorn is just like I'm over it. I'm done with it. So this is going to be bringing in like almost like a sort of breath of fresh air and a relief from all this heaviness, and it's going to get us starting to look and see like, okay, where's this next chapter bringing us? Like, shit's got to get better because, it's already gotten really bad. So it's got to get better than this. Okay. But of course, with Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto, that energy is sort of just hanging there, like not even in the background. It's actually coming from the background, just bam, like Mike Tyson punched to the fucking face. All right. But the moon is still in Pisces now, and it's actually going to conjunct Neptune. So this is when, like, you could even like get sick if you're trying to do too much. All right, because that Neptune energy, it's just if you're not in full surrender mode, it's breakdown, it's overwhelm, it's beating down the immune system, and especially if you're numbing out your senses, that's going to make it worse. All right, so keep that in mind and be careful. All right, and the sun is now getting closer to Chiron, so that's bringing another layer of this vulnerability. And we're already pretty much stripped bare to the bones of being vulnerable. So with that being said, okay, like these are all incredibly rare transits. Normally these transits, you'll have one maybe every 10, 15 years. This is like back to back to back to back to back. And we're going to have many of them throughout the year. In particular, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that is happening right now, exactly the 28th, that is going to be going back and forth, or it's going to conjunct 3 times in the next 6 months. So that right there is the big lesson that I really want to ram home here. Throwing that sexual connotation, ram it home. So Jupiter is money, and in Capricorn, it's about business, it's about structuring things. All right, Pluto is about the deep unconscious, like all this, like the stuff that we are afraid to look at, right? So Jupiter also puts a magnifying glass on whatever planet it's around. That's why all this nasty, deep, dark, like deep state, QAnon or whatever the hell it's called. That's why all this stuff is coming up and coming out, because it has to purge. So this is a massive, massive, massive collective purge, and it's happening right on top of where Saturn conjunct Pluto in January. Okay, so and it's gonna be hitting that around that same spot within 2 degrees 3 times. So this is like 23 degrees, very significant. Okay, and 2 + 3 is 5, so that's change. Okay, so telling you guys, this is the start of a 6-month choice of transformations. We all have a choice here. I highly, highly recommend, highly, cannot stress it enough. Listen to your instincts, listen to your gut, go with what you feel. Stay calm, stay at peace within yourself, trust the process, and just know that everything is going to be fine. Because it always is. Everything is as it is meant to be. So, whatever happens is meant to happen. And it's like if you lose people, you need to face that attachment to them. And I know that may sound harsh, but that's the reality that we're living in right now. This is all meant to strengthen us. And the universe is pleading with us, demanding that we rise up. It's like, if you don't rise up, you will fall, basically. And falling just means being stuck in this fear-based, control-based sheeple mentality, really. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a sheeple, and I don't want to be a sheeple. Okay, I want to help people. I want to do my part to make humanity a better place. And I hope that all of you will do that with me. I want to create communities. I want to spread knowledge, wisdom. I want to help people heal, help people understand their bodies and their minds better. Which reminds me, this weekend I'll be launching a short little ebook that I came out with to help people to process and face this spiritual awakening process, because so many people are going to be facing that here and now and in the near future. So I'll be putting that out on my social media and here on my YouTube as well. So please check that out too. Okay, so the 23rd, we have now, we're sort of in the dark moon phase before it gets into Aries, where we're going to have that new moon. So the end of the week is just not going to let up, guys. This is just going to keep going. Okay. And on the 23rd, the nodes go down to 3 degrees. So that's also getting closer to the end of this Capricorn Cancer nodal axis. And once this energy starts moving out of Capricorn, we're going to grow and we're going to learn from lesson. But this is setting the stage. This is planting seeds for the things to come, and it's going to have ripple effects for the rest of our lives. So we have a massive, massive chance to literally rewrite the script in our life. And it's all going to come from the manifestation of our beliefs, our thoughts, our energy. Our energy will dictate where we're going from here. I encourage you to really pay attention to that. Focus on taking care of self-love, love the people that you're with and around you. And if you're in toxic situations and toxic shit, then you need to find your way through it within yourself or get out of it from there. Okay? So that is it for now. I'm sorry that the chat wasn't working today. I really don't know why, but hopefully I'll be able to fix that for next time. And I'll be doing this every week from now on, bringing you guys the weekly energy reports on top of all the other things that I do. So please, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And thank you guys, everyone that tuned in, for liking, sharing, subscribing. Please share this information. If you like a reading from me, you can message me on this video or DM me on my Instagram. That's where, yeah, you can do that. Website coming soon. And I appreciate you guys so very much. I'm sending you all my best, all my love. Namaste. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night.